Hello, welcome to another episode of Time Spots on the Beat with me, K. Rajan of the New Straits Times. Today in the studio, we have former national hockey player Maninderjit Singh. Maninderjit, fondly called Mike, has played in the 1996 and 2000 Olympic for Malaysia and has also served as Malaysia Hockey Confederation's General Manager from 2009 to 2010 and the Secretary General from 2010 to 2012. Mike, welcome to our studio. I think this is the first time you are here at the new studio. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, to learn from you. Today, we are going to review about our national hockey team's performance at the 2026 World Cup qualifiers in Egypt. It just ended. Without wasting any time, it's a huge topic to delve in. Maybe you can share your views. Overall performance of the team. The team achieved the objective in the qualifiers to qualify for the 2026 World Cup, but they only finished fourth in the qualifiers. Should this campaign viewed as a success, or the performance is concerning? There is things that didn't work, things that need to be improved.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the invitation. I think this is my second invitation. And this is a brilliant studio. And thank you very much to New Straits Times and also K. Rajan, my old buddy in the sporting world. Thanks a lot. To answer your question is, I believe, let's get things right first, that before the campaign. Before the campaign, if you just read all the articles from the federation, from the coaches, from the team, there was a very three clear objective that has been set for the qualifier. The first objective was to be top of the Pool B, because if you beat Austria and you beat China and draw with Pakistan, you can be top of the Group B, and to avoid England in the crossover semi-final. That was the first objective. The second objective was announced by the federation and the team, was to play in the finals. And the third objective is for sure is to qualify to the semi-final. So these were the three defined objectives set by all the stakeholders. But when they reached there, if you look at the scenario, like this morning when I saw a portal, Rajan, put the 16 teams that has qualified. 2 by the host, 7 automatic, 2 from Pro League, 5 from Continental. Then the balance was 7 from the 2 venue of qualifier. They name all the teams. They qualified. They put there from the qualifier. But the interesting part is they put Malaysia at number 16, qualified based on ranking. So when I read that statement, as a former international, I was a bit unhappy. For sure, knowing in this country, Rajan, I think we have been in the sporting field for many years. What will happen now is everyone, the narrative, the keyboard warriors, everyone will now define that we qualified for the World Cup. And that will overshadow things of merit and the real performance of the national team in the qualifier. So I will say, to answer your first question, yes, we qualified through ranking, not on merit. But for me, it's a performance concern for sure. Yep.
It's objective achieved, but we are still there by virtue of ranking. A lot, like you said, a lot of keyboard warriors, a lot of lesser knowledge of the sport. They think qualifying World Cup, it's an achievement. We have been qualifying for the World Cup.
Just to summarize that, I have this statement in my head, Rajan. It's like a doctor will come and tell the patient that the operation is very successful, but the patient dies.
True.
So I think that is where the crossroad of Malaysian hockey is in international hockey now, Rajan. Yeah.
Okay. You were involved. You were being the pundit. You were watching all the matches there.
Yep.
If we put the team's performance under the spotlight, under the microscope, we conceded 7 goals against England, and then let a 3-1 lead slip against Japan. it's worrying. We have been conceding a lot of goals. Do you see this defensive? You're a defender yourself.
Yep.
Do you see this defensive issue is becoming a common thing with the national team? We have always been leaking in goals.
I totally agree with you, Rajan, because I was last man in defense for many years for Malaysia. But the question here is, in modern hockey games, the defending of the team and individual defending is totally different now. The first wall of defense is always, it starts from the forward, and then you defend as a team. And then when they get into the circle, your defensive structure is different. Then you have to have good PC defense when the opponent gets a penalty corner. And then ultimately, that keeps the goal is called a goalkeeper. If you do a analysis for many tournaments that Malaysian team has gone, when we hear you concede more goals than you score, that means we didn't have a good tournament. Like qualifier, for example, we scored 19, but we conceded 22. But from the 19, we scored 6 against Austria. So 13 came from the other 3 matches. So if you look at the journey of the pool matches, we played Austria. Austria scored first. We were chasing for the game. We got 6 goals. We won 6-1. Then we played Pakistan. We were leading. Then Pakistan scored. And they won the game 5-4. Then when we played with China, that's the only game that I believe that we were in commanding position. That we took the lead, we never chased the game, and kept the lead and won the game. Then we played against Japan. We were leading, we lost the game at 5-4. So if you ask me, goalkeeper in this tournament is not at his best. If you look at the top best team in the world now, they have 2 good goalkeepers. And every quarter is a different goalkeeper place. Why that happened is because they want to create a competition between 2 goalkeepers. And then they also have a strong goalkeeper in case an injury sets in. And they will also have 1 goalkeeper out of these 2 who is specialized in penalty shootout at classification matches. But if you look at our goalkeeping department, we have 6 goalkeepers at the moment. If I take the 4 other goalkeepers in the 2 Junior World Cup cycle, the 2023 cycle, we have Rafaizul and Che Afnan. The recent cycle in 25 in India, we had Haziq. And then we also have Muaz. And then now we have Adrian. But if you ask me, the 6 goalkeepers that we have now is substandard. Only Hafizuddin is still the primary goalkeeper at the age of 35 or 36. So that is my concern about this.
We have, when we see the other nations with the goalkeeping department, they're having specialized skill sets. We are still sticking to the generic. I'm not saying they're bad goalkeepers. They're best in the country. But that's the limit that they have. They say they seems to don't have additional attributes. Like you said, penalty, shootout experts. It's the lack of progress from the team. Evolution. You have, I know you watch hockey every time, foreign hockey. You know that the game has evolved a lot. Individual play, every department. How far we are lacking?
Okay, in a layman term, actually I can go very deep in technical part. But since just to make people understand easy, you see, for you to win matches at international level, first thing I want to define, there's 3 levels of international hockey at the moment. We call it a Class A. Class A means Olympics, World Cup, Pro League. Our time was Olympics, World Cup, Champions Trophy. Then the Class B is like Qualifier, Nation Cup, maybe Asian Champions Trophy. Then the Class C is like SEA Games, Azlan Shah Cup, any invitational for nation. So now, for you to be in Class A or to survive in Class B, there are certain ingredients for a team that is recognized as international team compared to a national team. The first thing for you to win matches or tournament at Class B and Class A, you need a good goalkeeper. That is a prerequisite. But at the moment, we are only surviving on Hafizuddin. My question is, how long can he still be in the team?
Last time we had Kumar and then we had
Yes.
Roslin.
Nashin, all that. So
we
big
dragged
pool of
them,
goalkeeper. Yep. The second one is PC attack ratio. We need to have a strong PC attack. In top teams, which we always discuss among the world best coaches, I'm in the forum, they believe that is 1-3-2-5-3-7. What does that mean is when you get 3 penalty corner, you score 1. You get 5 penalty corner, you score 2. You get 7 penalty corner, you score 3. That is how the ratio of the top teams of Class A. But looking at our team, we had
quite poor.
28% PC attack ratio. We got 28 penalty corner. But we only scored 8. And this is, I'm talking about Class B category tournaments. We are not talking about Class A. Because the higher the class you go, your circle penetration, statistic, shot at goal, your penalty corner attack, all will be not very high. But Class B, normally you'll get a lot of things. Because even you look at circle penetration that Malaysia got was 75 circle penetration in total. Because it was Class B tournament. But these stats will drop in Class A. Okay. So now what will happen is, yes, we scored 21 goals. Fair. That is the first element that we need. So we have Sohail Abbas to come and coach our flickers. My suggestion is that Sohail Abbas is good to be in this country to coach. But I suggest it should not be for the national team. It should go lower to produce new short corner flickers. Because at the young age, they can adjust, modify the technique.
They can adapt.
Once they establish players like Shahid Shafiq, Cholan, then you got Faisal Sari. They are all seasoned flickers. It's very difficult to mold them.
To change their behavior.
To change. Very hard because the pattern has been there. So the PC attack ratio in this tournament is reasonably okay. Not to the high level that we want. We scored only 8 out of 28. Then the third ingredient is PC corner defense. If we look at PC corner defense in this tournament, it's not that good. We gave away 22 penalty corner. And the opponent scored 7. But the 2 damaging game that our PC defense failed was against Pakistan. Pakistan only had 1 penalty corner. And they scored. Sofian Khan scored. But when we played England, England only had 5 penalty corner, but they scored 4. So this is the third ingredient that is not that good for Malaysian team. Then if you look at the bench depth. Now if you look at modern hockey, is all about rolling substitution of players to keep the tempo and the performance on the pitch. So the bench quality of the players must be equal with the playing players. But if you look at our substitution, the supply came from the last 2 or 3 Junior World Cup cycle. 21, 23, 25. So now if we look at the players that is on the benches, we have like people like Andy Wolfian, we have Azimuddin, Danish Khairil, and then we had Adam Ashraf. But if you look at the supply that's sitting on the bench with this 4+1 goalkeeper Adrian, and then you have Akimullah from the previous Junior World Cup, and Sharman Mati. But these 7 players that sits out were the 11. When you do rolling substitution of 3, 5 players, the quality dips.
The drop.
It drops. But we are suffering a Class B tournament. But what's going to happen when we go to Class A tournament? So these are the key ingredient. The next thing I see is we are not consistent in every quarter. We play like yo-yo, one deep, down, up, down. So for you to achieve results,
consistency
is like a basketball. You score 1, I take 1, I take 1. But once the gap goes high, very hard to recover, depending which category of tournament you are playing. Whether Class B, you sometimes can recover, depends who your opponent. But
Class A, there's no
Class
mercy.
A, no chance for you to come back.
No mercy. It's.
Then we look at card management. In international hockey, you need 11 against 11. You look at Japan was leading Pakistan 3-1. How did Pakistan came back into the game? Because Japanese had a yellow card. Immediately Pakistan scored 3. They came back in the game and they won the game. And Pakistan qualified. Japan out of semi-final. So card management is very important ingredient at World Hockey now. And in this tournament, you see, we got 5 green card, 2 yellow card. So for me, in this tournament, we played less one man for 17 minutes. Which is
damaging 17 minutes.
Damaging 17 minutes. Then we look at our game management. When you take the lead, we do not know how to manage the game. For us, we always believe that how does the opponent score the goal is very simple. First, the opponent has to have the ball. Yes. Second, you have to be in our D. So you need to have a drill. How do you manage the game? First thing is looking at your opponent, looking at the time on the scoreboard, and looking at the results on the scoreboard. That is a decision that the leaders on the field, the captain, the leaders of each department has to manage the game. But the question here is, this game management cannot come in the tournament. It must be trained, or it must be practiced, or you have undertaken a drill towards this game management. Even similar to card management. If you are less one player, how do you manage? And the problem about card management is which department gets a card. If a forward line gets a card, it's easy to manage. But just say a last man in defense gets a card. Or centre back gets a card. It's different game management.
You need to change.
So these are the areas that very important. And if you look, we are always chasing for games to win matches. We have never been comfortable from the whistle until the end.
Never in control.
Only against China. And then Rajan, one more interesting part that I did is a little bit of statistic. Do you know which is the most experienced team at international in this tournament? In Ismailia and also in Santiago?
I think it's Malaysia.
It's a Malaysian team.
Yeah.
You know, in Malaysian team, we had close to 2,300 caps. China only had 444 caps. Japan had 1,200, half of the cap. England, less cap than us, 1,849. Yet we lost 7-1. So when I'm going into this detail, Pakistan had 1,049.
They're still the better team.
But yet they play in the finals. So the question here I'm raising now is the quality of the players.
The numbers.
That is where the problem is. We can talk about last 2 years' results. Azlan Shah Cup, we finished 4 out of 6. Champions Trophy, we always finish number 6. Nation Cup, we finished 6 or 7 out of 8. It's been there for many, many years. And I telling, we have not recovered from 2018 Asian Games against Japan. We still have not recovered from that, which is 7 years ago.
This brings me to question the mentality. You have mentioned about the game control. Yep. Like you said, we struggle to close up matches, especially in crucial moment from 2018.
Yep.
It is the same thing, the Asian Games. Is this a tactical flaw or is it a mental weakness? Or you have mentioned that we are not the team that standard, the A. But do you see it's more to a mental thing or a tactical thing?
To answer this question, I tell you, Rajan, is like, it's a whole ecosystem and pathway of how a player goes into the national team. You see, for us in this country, it's very simple. Any hockey player who's below 17 years old is a bona fide of the schooling system. And we have a good sporting structure in school. And only problem is sports in school is not as good as those days. Now everything is academic. Then they have PLDs, they have Sekolah Sukan Negeri, and then they got SSN, Sekolah Sukan Negara. And we have 2 sports schools in this country. One is in Johor, one is in Bukit Jalil, and one more they're going to build in Sabah or Perlis, whatever I hear. But the question now is, below 17, the quality of the players that is coming out from Sekolah Sukan is not very good. The second development program that the Federation had with KPM is called National Hockey Development Program. That also not functioning at its best. They have taken, what they did was, I disagree with that because those days 1 Mas was an independent state-based activity. We don't get involved with KPM or development program. Then what they did, they combined both and create a National Hockey Development Program, which was, I disagree. Because below 17, let the schooling system, let the Bahagian Sukan and KPM run the show. They have their own MSSM tournament.
We will have two avenues.
We have two avenues. So the federation job is to have a development program in every state, every affiliate. So I think that is a better idea in development program. In school, what we can do is we enhance the coaching knowledge by giving them coaching courses. Second is to provide equipments. Third is to provide national championship tournament to them, like under 14, under 16 champion school, so that these boys at KPM can play all these tournaments, and then we monitor and we create project squad in years to come. But I'm sorry to say, Rajan, is because we are not getting quality players from the sports
developments.
We are just not getting. And then these boys at the age of 17, they start playing in the junior league, which is under 19, then they play in the senior league. Then these boys will be selected into the Junior World Cup cycle. Those days, the Junior World Cup cycle was 4 years. Now, the good thing is FIH making the junior cycle every 2 years.
Yes.
This is, for me, is a very good thing. Because now you can have a player can play not one Junior World Cup. If you are good, you can play 3. If you can play 2 Junior World Cup, 4 years. So it's a good idea by the FIH. But now, the 3 years, 21, that Junior World Cup cycle, I'm not going to blame because there was a COVID problem. So the preparation was not good. Many top teams pulled out from the Junior World Cup, which was in India. Then 2023 Junior World Cup was in Kuala Lumpur. We had 18 players where from sports school, went and played international at Sultan Johor Cup, played in the junior league, played in the senior league. Where are the players? There's only 2 players from there now in this team.
The senior team.
Only
2 make the progress.
Azimuddin and Andy Wolfian. I don't know where is Farizan. He's been dropped. He was a captain for 2023 in KL. So even a captain who cannot make to the national team, that means just imagine the quality of the team in 2023. Then a new hope was given for 2025 Junior World Cup in India. Okay. So the cycle started again. Then what happened was, in India, what number did we finish in Junior World Cup in India? Worst ever. Number 13 out of 24. Every Sultan Johor Cup, we are playing 5-6, 5-6, 6-5-6. We have never gone onto the podium. So now, Rajan, you tell me, on top of that, our national team is an old, aging
squad.
Most of the boys are my boys. Project 2013. I can name you. They are still playing. Hafizuddin was my goalkeeper, 2013. Faiz Hilmi, Marhan, Fitri, Faisal Sari, the spine structure of Malaysian team was from the project 2013. Because we knew the success of the senior team is always the junior team. You want to see how strong is Germany today, how strong is Holland today. You go and see the quantity of the players and go and see the results of the last 2 Junior World Cup. These are the players now playing to the senior team. So now we have this big dilemma. We have a team. I do not know how this team is going to be carried forward for LA Olympics, because the spine structure, they're all sitting at 35, 36, 37, 38. And supply can't even sustain the bench depth support service at this stage. Where are we going, Rajan? The gap is too big. For me, that's the biggest dilemma. Hafizuddin, retire. Who are the goalkeepers? Adrian, Aziz, Muaz,
They're not ready.
Rafaizul, Che Afnan, Marhan goes. Who's going to play last man? Faiz goes, Fitri goes, Faisal Sari goes.
Faisal Sari have gone few times and come in, go out.
Because no choice.
You're forced to play.
But sometimes when you go out and come, some players may be happy, some players may not be happy. That's why I say when you resign or you quit the national team, you must quit. Sometimes you go and come back. Some players is happy, some players may not be happy. Because they realize sometimes when you come back, you get certain privileges. Fair, you can be a very good player before, but after 1 year you don't come back and play, injury may come in.
You deteriorate.
And you see in this tournament, the player that scored the most goal is our centre midfield. Fitri Shari scored the most goal, 4 goals. Our forward line did not score the goal. Faisal only scored 2.
Very
Azrai
alarming.
only scored 2.
One of our sharp
Akimullah.
strikers, Akimullah.
Nur Shafiq Sumantri. Maran scored the goal. Faiz Helmi scored the goal. Fitri Shari scored
We
the goal.
have midfielder scoring.
So now, that's why I say, if you look at what I'm saying here is about international hockey, Rajan. I'm not talking about national team. Because for me, I'm more well-versed or more knowledgeable about what world hockey is all about. I'm not going to talk about national team or Pasukan Kebangsaan because for me, it's like our challenge is how to get into Class B to Class A. That is what I'm interested in.
We are stuck in Class B too long.
Yeah, but how long? You see, I did a simple analysis. When I was playing, top 10, Rajan, we had 4 Asian teams there. Top 10. India, Pakistan, Korea, Malaysia. 2006 onwards, there was only one team in top 10, India. The rest all went down. Then 14 teams in the world. In 2008, 14 teams. There were 5 teams in top 14. Asia teams. After that, what happened? Now we got only 3. So what does that indicate? And one more thing I want to tell you about world hockey is, Rajan, is we may have 90 or 100 affiliates to world hockey. But based on our calculation and our dialogue with all the world best coaches and the association, we came to understand that world hockey actually is only about the 20 teams. Because the gap from 20
50.
onwards is too wide. We must never be happy to say that we are ranked number 15 out of 90. No, we are ranked 15 out of 20. Because there is the best 8 teams, 4 teams, and 8 teams. That is how I define world hockey. The 8 elites. 4 is in between of the elites and low, and these 4 teams sometimes can beat the top 8, sometimes they can lose. But these top 4 can beat anytime the bottom 8.
True.
And now we are sitting just the last part.
Just above.
Then you have small Mickey Mouse teams that is improving
Rapidly.